Hi everyone, Sarah from Body Mechanics here. This is the third Pilates class that I'll be doing for you. This is an intermediate / advanced class. It's slightly more difficult from the earlier intermediate class that we released in that it's slightly more difficult to control the sitting posture in terms of abdominal control really. So if you felt that the last intermediate class was right at the max of your ability level, stick with that one, do that one a few more times, become slightly more comfortable, and then move on to this one. But if you found that the other one was absolutely fine, then please by all means join me with this one. For this class we'll need a few things. Ideally a very little weight. This looks big, but it's only 1.5 kgs. If you don't have a weight handy at home, you can use a water bottle. You could use an empty water bottle, or you could fill it up with water. By all means, if you want to use a heavier weight, do so, but it really is up to you. You just need something that you're going to hold in between your hands. The other thing that I'd suggest grabbing is a cushion or a pillow, and that's just to help us with the sitting positioning. Okay, so we're going to start off with our warm-up first, and then we'll get down onto our sides. We're then going to move into our sitting position with or without the cushion, and then we're going to move into some standing balance. You won't be able to see all of me with the standing balance work, but I'll show you what I'm doing with my arms first, and then we'll go through the balance together. If you don't understand or anything, or if you need some clarity, please feel free to email or ring the clinic, and I'm happy to discuss anything with you. Please look after your backs, particularly with the sitting work. If you feel that something's uncomfortable or you can't control your lumbar spine, please stop, contact the clinic, and I'm happy to discuss anything with you. Right, let's get going with our warm-up. Standing up. And first of all, starting with our upper body. So coming into position for our dumb waiter, elbows in at sides, palms bent up and facing the ceiling. Deep breath in to prepare, breathe out to set center, breathing in to hold and breathing out to take both arms out, and then coming back in and just moving those arms in and out. We'll do 3 more of these. And last one. That's it. Arms down at your sides. Now thinking about our shoulders a little bit more, we're going to do some big shoulder rolls backwards. And if you're ready to, pop your hands on your shoulders, and we're going to continue our rolls, making them slightly bigger. And then if you're feeling comfortable with that, arms out straight and doing our rolls even bigger. I always like to do shoulder rolls backwards because I feel that this is the opposite of what we spend most of our lives do, which is forward over a computer or over preparing the dinner or driving or down on the floor with the kids. So I only like to do them backwards, but if you feel like you want to do some forwards, go for it. Right, the next thing we're going to do is a side bend. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to come over with the right hand, and as far as you can go, coming down, bringing the other arm back or up and around, and over with the left, back with the right, and then again with the left, with the right, and then the left. Let's do one more on each side. There we go, coming down. Right, the next one we're going to do is my trusty mini squat and bringing some arms in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our mini squat, and we're going to bring arms up to 90 degrees. You're really going to think about sticking your bottoms out with this one. Keeping a nice position in your spine and keeping nice and strong through your abdominal area. We'll do 2 more of those. Coming back up, and then my trusty moonwalk. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift that first heel up off the floor, and then doing our little moonwalk on the spot. This is a great one for knees and ankles to get them nice and warm. It's also a good balance challenge. Gets calves going, gets Achilles going, gets all the little foot muscles going. It's a really, really lovely exercise to do. Doesn't take long to get everything warmed up. Okay, we'll do one more on each side and then come down. Right, our last warm-up exercise is our roll down. So really thinking about articulating each vertebra in your spine. I'll do it side on so you can see. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to pop your chin on your chest, and then thinking about one vertebra at a time, rolling forward and over the one below, all the way down to the floor. Keep those knees soft, breathing in at the bottom, and then breathing out to roll back up, stacking one vertebra on top of each other. And then again, breathing out as we come down, one vertebra at a time. Really think about getting that spinal articulation, lovely stretch at the bottom, and then rolling back up. On our third one, we'll roll down, we'll hold it, and then we'll get down into our side lying position. Just hold it down here, have a lovely little stretch, and then down you come. So if you've got your cushion, you can use it to pop underneath your head for your side lying position, like so, and just have your bottom arm out in front of you. Or if you prefer, like I do, you can have your arm bent or your arm straight, whichever's more comfortable for you. It really makes no difference to the exercise whatsoever, so you just go with comfort. I'm going to keep my elbow bent up a little bit like that. Okay, so this side lying series, we're going to do a clam 2 and 3, and then we're going to do some fun, interesting exercises called side kicks. So our clam 2 is slightly more challenging than our clam 1, which we did for the beginners class, as it's a progression. So before we get into our clam 2 position, let's think about our posture. So we've got hips, knees and feet stacked, and we're thinking about being nice and open through our shoulders. Depending on what you're doing with your underneath arm, you might not have your shoulders exactly stacked. As you can see, I don't, but we're really just thinking about keeping nice and open. If you need to have your hand in front of you to balance, that's absolutely fine. If you prefer to have it on your hip, that's also fine, wherever's most comfortable for you. So for clam 2, we're going to roll our top hip slightly forward, because that's going to help to switch off the hip flexor at the front and help to give the glutomechanical advantage. We're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out to set center, breathe in to hold, breathe out to lift both feet off the floor, and then lift that top knee up, and then breathing in to come back down. Breathing out to lift the top knee up, and breathing in to come back down. So what we're thinking of our 2 balance points with this one, we're imagining we've got a cup of tea or a glass of bubbles on our hip as well as on our feet, and we want to try and keep those 2 balance points as still as possible, and we want to try and keep the liquid in the cup or the glass. If you might find it slightly easier to have your hand on your hip, if you're struggling to know if you're still or not, that will give you some feedback. Otherwise, in front of you is absolutely fine. You will feel your underneath leg with this one, because it's working really hard to stabilize you. So the top leg is working obviously because it's moving, but the bottom leg is also working quite hard. I can feel my hamstrings just starting to kick in. Right, we'll do 2 more. And last one. And then bring those feet down. Okay, so that was clam 2. We're now going on to clam 3, which is slightly different. Clam 3 is with the bottom leg straight. What I would suggest is that you keep that leg straight, but you flex it forward slightly. So as you're looking down, you can just see the tip of your toe. Your top leg, you're either going to rest your foot behind your knee or behind your calf, wherever you feel most comfortable. Don't place it on the floor behind you, that's cheating. So you're just placing it on top. Now, some of you with longer legs might have your knee on the floor. Some of you with slightly shorter legs might have your knee just coming up off the bed. Do make sure that your hips are stacked with this one, that the top hip hasn't rolled back. You won't be very comfortable in your spine if it does. Right, breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold. And as we breathe out, we're lifting that top knee up and we're coming down as we breathe in. We're breathing out and we're breathing in. And we're breathing out and we're breathing in. So this one is a progression on the other one because we don't have that bottom leg bent. Even though we have the whole leg on the floor, it's much more difficult to control the balance because it's straight. It's also a progression because we're now moving into an inner range because our knees are, well, some of your knees will be on the floor, but the rest of us with shorter legs will have knees slightly off the floor. So we're having to pull that knee up through a slightly bigger range, which is much more difficult, as well as then balancing our foot on our knees or our calves. So with this one, you will feel the bottom leg working a little bit, not as much as with clam 2, but you'll really feel that top glute working to pull that leg up and into the air. You're thinking about your balance point here. You don't want to spill your cup of tea or your glass of bubbles. And you're thinking about a nice smooth movement. Right, let's do 2 more. And last one. There we go. Bend that knee up and have a little rest. So you might want to give that glute a little rub because it's probably started to burn now, which is great because that means you've been working really hard. We're now going to move on to our side kick series, and I've modified this series slightly to work with a straight leg the whole time. If you would prefer to work with your knee bent, that's absolutely fine. I will show you the position. So your top leg is straight for side, well, modified side kick. Your top leg is straight and your bottom leg is bent. As you look down your body, you should be able to see most of your bottom thigh, and then that knee should be bent to 90 degrees. You need to make sure that your hips are stacked once again. If this is uncomfortable for you to have that top leg straight, you can bend it, and that's absolutely fine. You'll just do the movement with this top knee bent instead of straight. That's fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'd like you to try and have your hand on your hip if possible. If you're struggling with your balance, have your hand in front of you, but having your hand on your hip will just make sure that you are aware of this balance point and that you don't spill your tea or your champagne. You're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out to set center, breathe in to hold, breathe out to lift that leg up, and you're going to bring that foot forward like you're kicking a football with the straight leg, and then you're going to breathe in to bring it back. So you're breathing out to kick forward and breathing in to come back. Breathing out and breathing in, trying to keep this balance point as still as possible. If you find that this is too long a lever and it's putting strain on your hip joint or your knee joint, you're very welcome to bend your knee and bring it forward like this. This is actually our traditional side kick 1. I just like to modify it to a straight leg because I feel that we work a little bit harder through our leg but also through our abdominal area. But by all means bend that knee if you have to, that's fine. Right, let's do 2 more. And last one. Bring that knee down, give that glute a little rub, it is working hard. Okay, so we're moving on now to our side kick 3. So for this one, both legs are straight. Make sure you can see your feet. The underneath arm is straight so that we're almost in a straight line, okay? I'm very happy for you to have your hand here or there. Obviously, if it's up on your hip, you're going to work much harder to control your balance. Right, breathing in to set, breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift that top leg up and forward, and then breathing in to come back. And breathing out, and breathing in. Your glutes are probably quite tired by now. Certainly that top glute is tired. So if you need to have a rest in between for this one, that's fine. If you prefer to kick forward, come back, and then go down, that's absolutely fine. You're still working very hard. You're just having a couple of seconds rest in between. You can go further forward if you want to. If you feel that you've got more control, go for it. And you're really trying to make a nice smooth kicking motion with that leg. You're trying to keep it level as you move it, and also you're trying to stay nice and balanced through there. This is a tough one. It's really tough lying on your side in an almost straight line. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Lovely, and down. Bend those knees up. Give that glute a little rub. Well done, everyone. That's a tough series of exercises that you've just managed really well. Okay, so before we get going on our other side, we're going to do something nice for our bodies, and we're going to do an arm openings. So we're going to have both hands in front of us, head down on the mat or on your cushion if you prefer, and knees bent up, hips, knees and feet stacked. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold. As you breathe out, take that top arm up and around, rotate that upper body, have a little breather at the back, and then coming all the way back. And then again, up and over, have a little breather, and then coming all the way back. We'll do 5 of these. This is number 3. If you feel like you'd rather hold it at the end, you're absolutely welcome to do that. Do whatever your body prefers, whatever works best for you. What we'll do on this 5th one now, we'll hold it for a couple of deep breaths anyway. And then we'll come back. Right, well done. You've survived the first side. Let's get on to our other sides, and or either side. We've only got 2. And we will do these lovely clams again, which I'm sure you're looking forward to doing. Right, so thinking about positioning again for our clam 2, I'm going to have my head on my bent arm, making sure you're stacked, hips, knees and feet, and then just roll that top hip forward a little bit. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out as you lift that top leg up. And then down. So remember your 2 points of balance, your hip and your feet. You've got your cup of tea or your glass of bubbles balancing there, and you really don't want to spill that precious liquid. Thinking about your breathing. You can think about anything other than your glutes. You're breathing out as you lift the knee up, and then in as you bring the knee back down. That other side is going to be working hard. You will feel it because we've just worked that side quite a lot. So you might start wobbling here because of fatigue. Really think about a nice smooth movement. If you're still struggling, you can make the movement a little bit smaller or even a little bit slower, and that will help you with the control and the glide of the movement. Let's do 2 more on this side. And last one. Okay, taking both down, give that glute a little rub. Right, clam 3. We have our bottom leg straight and we have our top leg either placed on the knee or the calf, whichever is more comfortable. Just let that top leg hang. Remember, you are stacked still, but roll forward a tiny bit. We're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out to set center, breathe in to hold, and breathe out to lift that knee up. And then coming down. Thinking about our 1 point of balance here. Trying not to let that hip roll backwards as our glutes are tired. We've been working them hard. And what most of us want to do is most of us want to roll backwards to help lift our leg in the air instead of just relying on the glutes. That's very normal, but just make sure that there's as little movement as you can possibly manage through that hip. That it's just the hip joint moving and it's just those glutes lifting you up. I'm starting to get wobbly on my weaker left side, so really concentrating on control and smoothness of movement. We want a nice glide. Let's do 2 more as I really feel the burn, and I'm hoping you are too. Here we go. Okay, give that glute a little rub. Right, we're moving on to our modified side kick 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to straighten that bottom leg. Make sure you can see the tips of your toes. And, oh, sorry, we're not doing that. We're bending the bottom leg and the top leg is straight. So this is modified side kick 1. Remember what I said with the other one. If you want to keep that, that top leg bent, that's absolutely fine. If that's more comfortable on hips and knees, that's absolutely fine. Okay, breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift that leg up and forward, and then breathing in to come back. Breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and breathing in. Remember, as you start to fatigue, you might want to come down and have a little rest in between. That's absolutely fine. You might also want to place your hand on your hip, your top hip, just to make sure you're not wobbling too much. Make sure that you're keeping that cup of tea or that glass of bubbles safe. We're thinking about a nice smooth movement, nice glide, keeping that foot in line with the hip. We're not letting the foot drop as we get tired. That glute still needs to work really, really hard. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Lovely. Bring it down. Have a little rub. Okay. Side kick 3. So we are in an almost straight line with that arm and that bottom leg. And we have our hand placed forward. Or if you're feeling very brave, hand placed on that hip. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift that top hip up and forward, and then breathing in to take it back. Breathing out and breathing in. Now obviously the further forward you kick that leg, the more difficult it is. So just find a range of movement that is challenging, but you can control it, okay? So it shouldn't be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. These glutes are working hard. They have worked hard, but just make sure you can control your lumbar spine and that you can control that hip movement, particularly as you start to fatigue. Okay, let's do 2 more. You can really feel the burn here. And bend those legs up, have a little rub there. Okay, right, you've survived the glute burn. Well done, everyone. Let's go on to our arm openings. Feel some lovely stretches. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold. As you breathe out, lifting up and over. Have a lovely stretch at the back, and then come back. And again. Let's do 1 more, and we'll take a couple of deep breaths at the end. Really enjoy that stretch. Lovely, and back. Okay, right, we're going to come into sitting now. Please come up nice and slowly because we've been on our backs and we've been working hard. So as I said, I like to use a cushion just because it helps me with my positioning. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a series of abdominal control exercises in our sitting position. It may seem quite easy, but in order to get the positioning right and the control through your lumbar spine right, it does require quite a lot of abdominal control. So do make sure you're comfortable. So whether you're on the cushion or not, it makes no difference as long as you're comfortable and as long as you can sit on your sitting bones correctly and your spine is nicely stacked. If you're sitting with a curved spine to start off with, you are going to strain your spine, so you really need to come up and think about being stacked. So I almost want that little lordosis there, that little curve. I want these knees nice and parallel and feet comfortably on the floor. If you want to straighten out a little bit more or bend a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. It's totally up to you. Right, the first exercise we're going to do is a C curve. We use arms with this one, but if you find it easier to have your hands on your knees, that's absolutely fine. So we're coming up into this position, palms are facing each other, hands are at about shoulder height. Like I say, if you have shoulder issues, just have your hands on your legs or your knees, or if you'd like your hands on the floor, that's absolutely fine. Right, so hands are up in this position. So we're breathing in to prepare, we're breathing out to set our centers, we're breathing in to hold, and as we breathe out, we're rolling off our sitting bones and we're coming back as far as we can comfortably come, and then we're coming back up and stacking back up into a sitting position. So like I say, a relatively simple movement, what seems like a relatively simple movement, but it's actually quite a difficult movement to get right. And if you've had lower back issues in the past, you might find it really quite challenging knowing how to articulate your spine one vertebra at a time. That is a real challenge if you've suffered from lower back pain in the past. Okay, so we'll do 2 more of these. And then last one. Right, let's pop our arms down and let's do a few little shoulder rolls backwards. Our next exercise is a progression from that simple one, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rolling back exactly as we were with our arms out. We're going to be holding that and lifting arms up and down in that position and then rolling back up. If this is too difficult for you, if you feel you can't control your lumbar spine or the rest of your spine, your head and neck position, please just do the one we've just done. That's absolutely fine. If you want to make it slightly more difficult, you can come up onto your toes. If you want to make it even more difficult, you can come up onto, you can lift both feet up or one foot up. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to keep my feet down because I struggle to control the position with both feet up, but I will show you the heel modification. Okay, so arms in our starting position, breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to come and roll off our sitting bones, make a C curve with our spine. You're going to bring those arms up as much as you can, bring them down, and then roll back up. Now we'll continue like this. For those of you who want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can bring the feet up, or you can roll back and you can just lift arms up and down. Okay, so we're going to roll back. We're going to bring arms up. We're going to bring them down, and then we're going to roll back up. I'll show you the legs now, rolling back. And if you come up onto your toes, you're going to lift up, down, and then back up. If you want to do one leg, you're going to roll back. You're going to do arms, whoop, and then you're going to come back. That's why I'm not showing you with both feet, because I'll end up falling backwards. This is a tough one. And then up and down. If you're getting fatigued and you're struggling to hold your position, just roll back a little bit less. You don't have to do your full range. That's absolutely fine. This isn't an unusual abdominal workout. It really requires a lot of control, but it's a great one to do. Let's do one more. And down. Okay, so our next one is an arm reach and pull with or without feet up off the floor. I will be taking 1 foot off the floor. You are welcome to take 2 feet off the floor or to have your heels up off the floor. It really depends on your abdominal control, how strong you are, but also your lumbar-pelvic control. If you're feeling like this last one was enough of a challenge, just keep feet on the floor and just do the arms with me. Okay, so what we're going to do is, for those of you who are bringing the feet up, you can bring up your heels or the one foot or both feet. I'll just lift the right foot up for the moment and we'll swap over halfway. Okay, so we're going to breathe in to prepare, breathe out to set our centers, breathe in to hold, breathe out to come off our tailbones. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hold this position, we're going to reach forward with our arms and then reach back. So we're doing a protraction and a retraction with our shoulder blades in this position. And like I say, if you want to do both legs, there we go. I'll try not to fall over. It's not an easy one. We're going to do 2 more. And then back up into sitting. Come down, do some shoulder rolls. So that was our reaching. Now we're going to do our pulling. Okay, so we're coming back into our position. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to come back. We're going to bring arms up and we are going to lift them up to the ceiling and down and up and down. So we're still doing our pro and retraction. We're just pulling up and down towards the ceiling. If you feel like you can have both legs, that's great. If you're starting to fatigue, you might want to have one down. You can see I'm shaking because I am fatiguing through these abdominals already. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. And last one. Right, roll back up into your nice position and arms down. Okay, let's do some shoulder rolls. All right, our last exercise in this quite challenging position is a trunk twist. Once again, the progressions are quite vast. So we're going to roll back into our C curve and do a twist with our arms out to our sides and rotate. If you want to have both feet on the floor, that's fine. If you want to lift your heels, if you want to lift one leg, if you want to lift the other leg, that's fine. If you're in a position and you feel you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, just bring the other leg up or come up onto toes. If you feel like you're not controlling your position, if you're starting to fatigue, if you're feeling any pull in your back, then bring the legs down and just have a little rest there. Okay, so instead of arms out to the side, out to the front, we're going to start with them out to the side. So thinking about being up nice and tall, breathe in to prepare, breathe out to set center, breathe in to hold, breathe out to come back into your C curve. And then what we're going to do, if we can, is rotate around and then come back in and rotate around and come back in. If we're thinking about our breathing, we should breathe out as we rotate around, breathe in as we come back in. Breathe out and breathe in. Breathe out and breathe in. If you're just concentrating on not falling over, I'm with you, and you can breathe whenever you can. Let's do 2 more on each side. Not much talking with this one because I'm concentrating on keeping my balance. And last one. And up and down. Have a little shoulder roll. And what we're going to do is we're going to tuck our faces, our heads into our knees and have a little breather there. Just have a little stretch in this position. Feel that nice stretch through the lumbar spine. Like I say, a very simple position, but incredibly difficult to control your trunk and your lumbar spine position. So well done for getting through that, all of you. Okay, we've got some fun next. We've got our standing balance. So up into standing. I'm going to demonstrate the exercises on my knees first so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. And then I'll do it in standing with you. If you have any queries with the balance, make sure that you're standing by a wall or that you've got a chair next to you, and you can always grab onto the wall or the chair. I'd rather you have something close and not be too wobbly, have a finger or a couple of fingers on the wall, just to keep your control as good as it possibly can be, really. Okay, so we've got 3 exercises for our standing balance. The first one is, well, they're all going to be with a weight or your water bottle. The first one is a symmetrical exercise on both feet. The other 2 are single leg balances, so we'll repeat on each side. So I'm just going to go through the arms for each of them first, and then I'll get into standing. I'll be cut off a little bit, so you won't be able to see my arms, but you'll be able to see the rest of my body. So the first one we're doing is we're coming up onto tippy toes, and as we come up, we're rising or raising the weights above our heads, and then we're coming back down, and then raising up and coming back down. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is a single leg standing rotation. So the weight's going to be out at shoulder height, and you're going to be rotating around and then back to the middle, and then rotating around the other way and then back to the middle. So it's just a pure rotation with the weight at shoulder height, arms out straight, elbows not locked but straight. The last one is a diagonal single leg balance. So you're going to start off with the weight above your one shoulder. So we'll start off standing on our right leg. We'll start off with our right shoulder. You're going to sweep that weight down and past your left hip and then back up. And then you're going to sweep it down past your left hip and back up. We'll then repeat on the left hand side, start up on the left, above the left shoulder, sweep down past the right hip and back up, and down past the right hip and back up. Okay, so I'm going to come into standing. I will be cut off, but hopefully you can see most of me. So we're starting off with our first one, which is coming up onto tippy toes. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in to prepare, breathe out to set our centers, breathe in to hold, and as we breathe out, we're coming up onto tippy toes as far up as you can with your heel raised, holding up there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming back down. As you can see, I have feet slightly apart. You can have feet together if it's more comfortable for you. For me, I'm more comfortable with them slightly further apart. If you want to make it slightly easier, you can even increase your base of support. That will make your balance a little bit easier. Okay, breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, and as you breathe out, coming up onto those toes. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming down. Right, only one more of these, and up we go again. Find your balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming down. There we go. That's the first one done. So now coming on to our single leg standing balance. So let's start off with our right legs. So make sure that you are comfortable standing on that right leg in a static position, okay? If you need help, like I say, please hang on to something. That's absolutely fine. It's best to hang on to something at either side rather than in front of you, because you'll still then be able to do a little bit of your rotation and it won't disrupt your weight distribution. Okay, so let's bring the weight up to shoulder height. We're not going to worry about breathing with this one. We're going to worry about not falling over. So off we go. We're going to try and rotate around as far as possible. And then back to the middle. And then we're going to rotate around the other way. And back to the middle. So don't worry about where your pelvis and your hips end up going. You'll see that mine are rotating around a little bit. And that's absolutely fine. It challenges our balance even more. Whoop. Take your time with this one. If you want to go a little bit slower, go for it. Likewise, if you want to make it more difficult and go faster, you're welcome to. Right, we'll try 2 more, whoopsie, on each side. These legs are tired after all of that glute work. So you might find that you do start to wobble a little bit more as we progress, and that's absolutely normal. Last one. There we go. Down you come, shake that leg out, do some shoulder rolls, and let's get on to the other side. So left leg, get your static balance first, arms up, and off we go. You'll find the one leg is always more challenging than the other leg. It normally goes with handedness, so if you're right-handed, you will normally be right-footed, and that will normally be your stronger leg, more supportive leg, easier to balance. Those of us who are left-handed, not including myself, are slightly more ambidextrous and will find that they are slightly symmetrical in their balance. Right, one more. And last one there. Ooh, little wobble at the end. Down we come. Let's do those shoulder rolls and let's shake that leg up. Okay, we're nearly there, guys. We've got 3 of the diagonals on each side, and then we will do our cool down. Okay, so getting your static balance again. And we're going to bring those arms up above our right shoulder, and we're going to sweep down. I tend to bend my knee a little bit with this one. I find it slightly easier as I sweep down and then come back up. But if you want to keep that knee straight and locked, that's fine. You can sweep down like that and then back up. We've got one more of those to do. Only 3 on each side with this one because it is a toughie. Right, coming down, do some shoulder rolls, nearly there, guys, well done. Okay, get your static balance on your other side. This is my wobbly side, and then hands above that shoulder, and then sweeping down, and then up. Take your time with this one. The slower you go, the easier it is, particularly as you come back up to your starting position. And one more. And coming back up. Down we go. Let's do some shoulder rolls and you can pop your weight down. Little balance challenge at the end is always good. Okay, so we're going to do a standing cool down. We're just going to do a few stretches. The first one we're going to do is a roll down again. So we'll do 3 roll downs, but we'll finish it standing. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, and breathing out to pop chin onto your chest and rolling down. 1 vertebra at a time. Have a nice little stretch at the bottom and then rolling up. And again, breathing out as you roll down. Nice little stretch at the bottom and breathing out as you come up, breathing in and then breathing out as you roll down. So we're going to hold this one at the bottom here, and we're just going to, in this position, lift our heels up 1 at a time. You might get some clicky ankles like me. Okay, both feet down, and then let's roll up. Okay, so we are now going to do our hamstrings in a slightly different way. There are lots of ways to stretch your hamstrings. When I'm in standing, I like to do this. Heel onto the floor and bend the supporting leg. Hands on my hips, and I bend forward from my hips. So I'll show you from the side. So I'm sticking my bottom out. I'm not curving my spine. I'm getting a nice stretch through my hamstrings. For those of you who want to, you can reach over to your foot, but I prefer just doing it like that. Let's just breathe into that position. Okay, and then the other side. Coming back up. Let's do our glutes. Another balance challenge, unless you have something to grab onto. You're going to pop your right ankle over your left knee and sit back. So if I show you from the side, sit back, stick your bottom out once again, keep your back nice and flat, and you should feel the stretch then into the upper hamstrings and also into the glute. I'm holding on to our windowsill here. I'm happy for you to hold on to something. If you don't want to, you can challenge yourself even more. If you haven't had enough of a balance challenge today, then you can hold your balance here. Right, let's change sides. Sticking that bottom out, keeping your back nice and straight, and breathing into that lovely stretch. Coming back up. The last one we're going to do is a trunk rotation. So breathing in to prepare, breathing out to set center, breathing in to hold, breathing out to lift up, and then rotating all the way down and around, breathing in again and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and out. Really feel the rotation through your spine. We've done some quite challenging, tricky exercises this evening. Your back muscles have worked very hard. Your abdominals have worked very hard. Your hip and leg muscles have worked very hard. And you need to give your back a good stretch out. This is also one of my favorites for if I've been sitting too long, doing too many Zoom appointments in a row. It's a really lovely one to get up and into standing and just getting the arms moving and the spine moving. Let's make that our last one and come down. Right, that's it. I hope everyone's enjoyed that class. Like I said, if you have any issues, please get hold of me at the Body Mechanics. We're still open for business, and we hope to see you all soon. Bye.